did have, I thought my car was better than the person I was catching those. So if they're equal cars, obviously it's going to be tough to get around anyone. But I think it seems like the package-wise, maybe just a slight bit of change better.
The design of this new diffuser is supposed to create downforce in different areas. I mean, could you tell any sort of difference in the way it drove or anything?
I couldn't. No, I think that some of the changes that it's supposed to be better. I think it's really just not supposed to be worse than what we had before. It's just a far less expensive piece.
And the tire, could you tell? They're using that tire with the thicker.
Yeah, I mean that's a good thing for Goodyear to continue to evolve on and try to get better at is finding a tire that continues to drop off. I think that this one's showing some signs of that, so I think it's definitely a step in the right direction on the tire.
When you talk about the tires, do you feel like that puts it more in the driver's hands to manage that over the course of the run?
Yeah, anytime you can have lap time variability from good to bad, from new to old, you're going to see more passing. So the more we can create that, the better the drivers are going to have a hand in their finish on any given weekend for sure.
It's going to be easy for a lot of maybe us or other people to look at Sunday's race and say, okay, because of X, package works, package doesn't work. But it seems like these are such. It's a first step more than an end game. How do you have to look at it, and what are the things maybe you caution people and just kind of be aware of when they're watching Sunday's race?
Well, I think I can safely say it's not going to be worse than what we had. What we had was really, really bad for sure. This is a 10% fix. Like if back in the old heydays where aerodynamics didn't matter, was a 0, and this is what we had was 100. This is like 90. So it's going to be a very, very small change. But anything that can allow us to run closer to each other, to cross each other's wake without the air blocking that we've seen over the last few weeks, I think that'll be a good thing. And I certainly think this tire is heading in the right direction. It's not all the way there, but it's certainly heading there.
What's wrong with air blocking? I mean, it's not
nothing,
something new.
No,
okay.
Nothing, but it's just you didn't used to be able to do it. So the leader in the air blocking, they're able to just slow down and essentially swerve in the middle of the corners to block someone because the aerodynamic is such a big effect. We're in the throttle so much, right? So if they had to be out of the throttle, you wouldn't be able to see as much air blocking as what you do now. But it's kind of the package what we've got.
Kyle Busch said he thought the new car would diminish the air blocking, and instead it's made it more significant.
Yeah, I think everyone's just getting educated on it a little better. I think that certainly it's been part of our sport for a few years now. There was kind of a Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick clip going around the internet that probably everyone got fed in their algorithms this week. But yeah, it's back when Kevin was just miles faster than Joey, and he was just swerving through the corner, just trying to stay in his mirror. And we still have that today for sure. So our package that we have now is not different than then. But it's certainly different than if you look at back when we had 900 horsepower. Like, you weren't able to do that. You had to hold, pick a line, and guess there. But now with us having so much grip and so little horsepower, where you're able to swerve in the middle of the corners because of how much grip the cars have. So it's just a new type of racing, right? So it's not better or worse. It just depends on your point of view. But it's just different.
You're usually one of the first guys to anything that has to do with drafting. You're one of the first guys to figure it out.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not. It's just different than drafting for sure because, when you get to the corner, eventually you have to make a corner, and the person with the most grip is the car in front, and they have the tremendous advantage. So anytime they can take a little bit of air away from you, they have enough grip. You do not, and that's why you see guys just sliding up. You're not seeing anyone get loose anymore. It's all just they make other cars push up the racetrack. So it's just a different type of racing we've got.
In the rehash of last weekend, is there anything that can be done to what happened to Bubba and that lug nut, or is that just one of those unfortunate kind of things where it gets almost too tight and you're kind of SOL?
Yeah, I mean, the team kind of briefed me on it, and it was kind of a little. They explained it well on TV. I will say that they did a really good job of. The gun started getting going, and when they went in there, it didn't tighten it too much. When they grabbed the heavy-duty gun, it's the same brand, but the off position is on that side and off on this side, so it's opposite. So the same brand of gun, the on switch is in a different spot, so guy checked, and so when he went to take it off, he actually just tightened it even more with the heavy duty gun because the switch is backwards on the same brand gun. So can't make it up.
So there's really not just make sure you know which gun you have.
I think we'll probably just weld it in the unlock position on the heavy duty gun. I don't think there's any reason to tighten anything with that heavy duty gun for sure.
I'm curious, back to the point of tire management. There's so much information available now. You can see throttle traces, you can see steering inputs. Does that make it more difficult to differentiate how you manage your tires throughout the course of a run?
Yeah, I mean, certainly we're always studying each other, right? I mean, everyone right now is in their hauler studying whoever was the 2 fastest cars of the day, trying to figure out where are they losing speed, where they need to get their car better to drive like that car that is fastest. So that's why you see the field so tight. I mean, we're driving essentially the same cars, that we all have the same body. Eventually we'll have engines that only have a certain amount of horsepower, and you can't have any more than that. So we're all going to be driving these kit cars, and the drivers are essentially the ones that are the X factor. And the more we share and the more information is out there for us to gather, the more we're going to continue to morph ourselves into the same driver as well. So that's kind of then you're getting into now the pit crews are the biggest X factor to get track position. So it's just an evolution of the sport.
I want to ask you about in regards to that is Kyle's going through his issues with the pit crews. You've talked about yours.
Seems like he's really pumping them up though. He's doing a great job.
How do you build that category and because I think you've talked and he's talked about, hey, some of the better ones are under long-term contracts. You can't get. I know part of your 5-year plan was probably thinking, hey, some of the pit crew guys I want, I've got to wait them out a few years to have an opportunity, and while you're developing. I mean, it seems like it's the next big area, even more so than what it has been. It's always been an important area, but
the infrastructure is just so expensive. I mean, I would say that Gibbs probably has 60 pit crew guys. They pick their best ones out of that group, and then they farm out the other ones until they get really good. Then they'll put them on their team cars. Hendrick's probably got 60, 80 pit crew guys, right? And so they just have so many more to choose from. And so we have to rely on them letting someone go, or we have to, what we're doing now in 2311 is building our own farm system, right? But that's going to take years to really see fruit from it. Tyler also, took on Monday he took responsibility for his role in it as well. I think he had a very bad day getting in the pit box on Sunday. So everyone's got a role in it, but certainly, it's not an easy thing because those guys are such a big part of, what makes a fast car fast and putting it up front, because these drivers were all the same now. The cars are all the same. It's the pit crews are really the guys that are X factors.
Hey, next week is Bristol not on dirt. What does it mean to go back to the concrete back there? At that
I'm looking forward to it for sure. I mean, I think it's a track that I've always historically run well at. The dirt race, I had one good race and 2 terrible ones. So I'm looking forward to going back to it for sure, because I think it's just one of the great short tracks. And if we want to go a dirt track, let's go to a homemade dirt track that's been running.
This is Harrison Burton, driver the number 21. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, check out one of these 2 videos beside me. Visit frontstretch.com for more racing content.